My name is Ariana Voss, and people call me many things: strong, quiet, mysterious, too independent for her own good, but no one really knows me. That's the thing about secrets. People only see the surface. The storm inside remains hidden. I live in Cape Town, a city that never truly sleeps. It glows at night, skyscrapers sparkling, streets buzzing, ocean winds whispering tales. I had always been a woman who fought for herself. Raised alone, built alone, survived alone, and the biggest thing I ever earned was my apartment, a sea-facing two-bedroom space on the 12th floor. Paid for with years of double shifts, online freelancing, and savings I protected like my life. That apartment wasn't just a home. It was the only place in the world where I breathed freely. But nobody knew that. Nobody except my lawyer friend Samantha. Not even my future husband, especially not him. I met Ethan Collins on a cold Wednesday evening at a coffee shop near Victoria Wharf. He was quiet, charming in a soft boy way, the kind of man who smiled with his eyes. We talked, exchanged numbers, and within weeks, we were inseparable. He respected boundaries. He never asked personal questions. He never pressured me into telling him things I wasn't ready to share. At least. Not at first. What attracted me the most was his gentleness.
His soft laugh.
His vulnerability. He wasn't rich, he wasn't flashy, he was simple. And simple felt safe. His mother, though, was another story completely. The first time I met Mrs. Margaret Collins, I understood one thing: she didn't want a daughter-in-law. She wanted a servant with a legal bond, short haircut, sharp nose, stiff neck. Everything about her screamed dominance. Her handshake felt like the grip of a woman who had lived her whole life controlling everyone around her. She didn't say, "Hello." She said, "So you're the girl my son thinks he wants to marry." Not my son is in love with, not my future daughter-in-law, just the girl he thinks he wants. A challenge. A warning. A prediction. Ethan squeezed my hand under the table, maybe trying to reassure me. But the message was clear. She didn't accept me. Not now. Not ever. Over dinner she judged everything. My job. My clothes. My posture. My opinions. At one point she even said, "Where do you stay? With roommates? Or with your parents if they exist?" If they exist. As if I was a stray animal someone picked up. I kept my voice steady. I manage on my own. She leaned forward, eyes narrowing. So no stability. She had no idea how wrong she was. 2 months later, Ethan proposed. Nothing extravagant. Just a quiet evening, a simple ring, and trembling hands. I said yes, not because I was desperate, not because I needed anything, but because a part of me truly believed Ethan was different from his mother, and maybe, I thought, after a lifetime of surviving alone, I deserved a chance at companionship. I didn't tell him about my apartment. Not because I was hiding wealth, but because people treat you differently when they know you don't need them. And I didn't need Ethan. I wanted him. There's a difference. After marriage, I moved into the Collins family home. Big mistake. I didn't want to. My plan was to convince Ethan to move into my apartment after a few months. A fresh start. Neutral ground. No in-laws. No pressure, but Mrs. Collins insisted we stay with her until we find our feet. Find our feet? We were both working adults. Still, Ethan said, "Just a few months, love. We'll save money." Save money. I had already saved enough to buy a home, but I stayed silent. Within 1 week, life became a manual. Wake up at 5:30. Breakfast at 7 o'clock. Kitchen must be spotless. Clothes ironed daily. Ask before going anywhere. Never talk back. Mrs. Collins wanted a robot, not a wife for her son. She corrected the way I chopped vegetables, the way I folded laundry, the way I walked, the way I breathed. One day she said, "Ariana, you're living under our roof. Follow our rules." Our roof. Our rules. The thing is, she believed I had nowhere else to go. That I was dependent on her home. Funny enough, that belief would become her downfall. At first, Ethan defended me, but slowly.
He started drifting. If I said something, he'd say, "Please don't upset my mom."
If his mom insulted me,
he'd say, "She didn't mean it."
If I cried,
he'd say, "You're being sensitive." If I asked for space, he'd say, "This is normal."
Every married woman goes through this. No, Ethan. Not every married woman is suffocated in her own home. Not every married woman is monitored. Like a prisoner, not every married woman is told she is unwanted. But he didn't care. He wanted peace. Even if that peace came at the cost of my dignity, the turning point came one night. I was passing by the kitchen when I heard Mrs. Collins on the phone. Her voice was hushed but venomous. Ethan could have done better. She has no money, no family backing, no property, nothing. I froze. No property. No apartment. No independence. She had built an entire reality in her head, a reality where I was a poor, helpless girl clinging to her son. She continued, "Don't worry. Soon, very soon, we'll make her leave. Then I'll find someone suitable for my son." My heart didn't break. It hardened. I walked quietly back to my room. And for the first time in months, I smiled because they had no idea the truth they were about to choke on. 2 days later, Ethan approached me. "Ariana, we need to talk." His tone was rehearsed, cold, like he had practiced in front of a mirror. "Sure," I said calmly. He hesitated. You'll be okay, right? I mean, if anything happens. You don't have another place to go, do you? So that's what this was. They wanted to throw me out, but needed confirmation that I had nowhere else to go. I looked at him expressionlessly. "I'll manage." He swallowed hard. "You don't have a place, right?" I smiled softly. "Why does that matter, Ethan?" He didn't answer, but his silence said everything. That night I didn't cry. I didn't panic. I didn't break. I simply opened my laptop and sent a message to my lawyer friend, Samantha. She called immediately. "Are you okay?" she asked. "I'm perfect," I said. For the first time. Samantha knew me well. "You're leaving them." "I am. And the apartment?" "Still mine. Still untouched. Still ready." She laughed. "I always said that secret would save you one day." Next morning, Mrs. Collins looked especially triumphant. "Ariana," she said, sipping her tea, "you should start packing. I think it's time you return to wherever you came from." "Wherever I came from? You mean the apartment where I live?" I asked casually. Her cup froze halfway to her lips. "What apartment?" She snapped. I tilted my head. "The one I own." Silence. "What did you just say?" Her voice cracked. For the first time, fear flashed in her eyes. Ethan walked in, confused. "What's happening?" I looked at him. "You wanted to know where I'd go if I left, right?" I smiled gently. "To my own apartment?" He blinked. Then again. And again. "You own an apartment?" "Yes." Double quotes. Mrs. Collins stood up so fast her chair crashed behind her. "You lied." "I never lied," I said calmly. "You assumed." She pointed at Ethan. "She tricked you. She hid things." I shrugged. Says the woman who was planning to kick me out. Her face reddened. I walked to the bedroom, packed my suitcase slowly. Not because I needed time, but because I wanted them to feel every second of it when I walked out of the door. Ethan tried grabbing my arm. "Ariana." "Wait." I moved his hand away. "No, Ethan, you had months to stand by me." "Not anymore." Mrs. Collins shouted after me. "You'll regret this. No man will want you." I laughed without turning back. "I don't need a man. I need peace." And with that, I left their house behind. I wasn't running away. I was walking toward freedom. My apartment was waiting. My life was waiting, and my revenge was only beginning. When I walked out of the Collins house, suitcase in hand, the afternoon sun hit my face, warm, gentle, reassuring. It felt like the sky itself whispered, "You did the right thing." Ariana. For the first time in months, my footsteps felt light, almost weightless. Like I had shackles around my ankles all this time and didn't even realize it. I booked a cab and texted Samantha. Me. "Leaving now?" "Heading home, Samantha. About time. I'll meet you there at 5. There it was. Home. A word that finally felt real. When the elevator doors opened on the 12th floor, I felt my heartbeat rise. This hallway. These walls. This smell. Every detail pulled memories out of me. The good ones. The ones I nearly forgot existed. My key slid into the lock smoothly, like the door had been waiting for me. When it opened, the apartment was exactly as I left it. White curtains gently moving with the ocean breeze, my teal sofa, the painting I bought from a local artist, sunlight glowing across the wooden floor. A soft laugh escaped me. I hadn't realized how much I missed space, silence, freedom. I placed my suitcase near the couch. Then just stood there, breathing, no one calling my name. No one dictating my actions. No one watching every move. I whispered, "I'm home." My phone buzzed. ETHA. "Anna, please talk to me." "Don't leave like this." I didn't reply. 30 seconds later, "Ethan, come back. We can fix this." "Fix what?" "A marriage where I was treated like a maid." Then his mother messaged, Collins, you are making a mistake. Humility suits a woman. Pride destroys her." I blocked her instantly. Then Ethan again. "Ethan, did you really own an apartment all this time? Why didn't you trust me?" I locked my phone. He didn't deserve answers. At 5:03 p.m. sharp. My doorbell rang. Samantha walked in with 2 large iced coffees and a bag of pastries. "Fuel," she said. I hugged her tightly. She pulled back and looked around the apartment. "God, I miss this place. Why did you ever leave?" I exhaled slowly. Maybe I needed to lose myself to find myself again. She raised an eyebrow, poetic. "But seriously, we have things to discuss." We sat on the couch. Samantha opened her laptop. "Idra TK Hui, all right. First, your marriage. You're legally protected. They have no grounds to take anything from you." "I don't want anything," I said. "Just freedom," she nodded. "And you already have it." Samantha studied my face. "You look calmer." "I am calmer. But calm wasn't my final destination. Revenge was. As we talked." Samantha suddenly paused. "By the way, did you ever check your joint bank account?" My stomach tightened. "What joint account?" "The one Ethan opened after marriage. You signed some papers, remember?" I froze. He did convince me to sign some documents. He said they were for medical insurance updates. Samantha flipped her laptop toward me. My eyes widened. The account showed, withdrawn, 62,000 rand. Withdrawn, 14,000 rand. Withdrawn, 8,500 rand. New balance, or minus 230 negative balance. He had emptied everything. The room spun. My pulse jumped. This wasn't just disrespect. This was betrayal. "So," Samantha said with a bitter laugh, "they wanted a rich daughter-in-law, but didn't mind stealing from the one they already had." I clenched my jaw. They thought I was helpless, dependent, weak. Thought they could throw me out and keep my money. They messed with the wrong woman. I stood up, went to the window and stared at the ocean. Waves crashed, fierce and relentless, a mirror of what I felt inside. "I'm not letting this go," I said softly. Samantha leaned back. "I was hoping you'd say that." I brought the paperwork. "What paperwork?" She smirked. "Fraud documentation, marital rights, financial theft. Everything we need to burn them." Burn them. The phrase warmed me inside. "But first," Samantha said, "you need rest." I nodded. But revenge doesn't need rest. It needs focus. After Samantha left, I showered, changed into soft pajamas, and lay on my bed. For the first time in months, I wasn't sleeping in fear of hearing footsteps outside my door. No yelling. No rules. No orders. Just silence. But silence can be dangerous too, because silence lets your mind replay everything, every insult, every order, every look of disgust, every plan they made to discard me, and the withdrawals. All my money gone. By the time I drifted into sleep, one thought circled my mind. You stole from the wrong woman. When I woke up, I made coffee, opened the balcony door, and felt the fresh air fill my lungs. Then my doorbell rang. I frowned. It rang again. I opened the door. He looked tired, broken, desperate. "Ariana, please hear me out." "No." He stepped forward. I blocked him. "You need to leave." He grabbed my wrist gently. "Please." I can explain. Explain what? I snapped. The insults? The control? Or the money you stole?
He flinched. I didn't.
I didn't steal. I was going to tell you when. I stepped closer. When your mother approved of it? When I was thrown out? When you replaced me?
His eyes widened. You heard her. I heard everything.
He swallowed, panic rising. I didn't agree with her. She pressured me. Stop blaming your mother, I hissed. Be a man and own your choices. He shut his eyes, tears threatening. Ariana, I made mistakes. Big mistakes. But I love you. I laughed loud, sharp, cruel. You love me? You let your mother treat me like trash. You watched me break. You stole from me. And now you want forgiveness? He shook his head rapidly. I'll do anything. Anything to fix this. I'll cut ties with her. Just, please don't leave. My voice turned cold. You didn't lose me today, Ethan. You lost me months ago. You just didn't know it.
He opened his mouth again. I shut the door in his face. Through the door I could hear him sob. Please.
Ariana, please. I didn't move. He knocked again, then silence. After a minute, I looked through the peephole. He was sitting on the floor, head in his hands, shaking, for a moment. The woman inside me felt pity, but the warrior inside me whispered, he had chances. He chose her. I walked away. At 2 p.m., my phone buzzed with an unknown number. I answered. Ariana Voss? Her voice was cold, stiff, poisonous. Mrs. Collins, what do you want? She inhaled sharply. Return my son to me. I smirked. He's not a lost puppy. You destroyed him. She shrieked. He was crying outside like a child. He never cried before you. Maybe he should have thought about that before treating me like dirt. You ungrateful. I'm not your daughter-in-law anymore. Don't call me again. You think you won? You think this is over? It's only beginning. I whispered. I hung up. The next hours were spent gathering documents, collecting, proof staking, screenshots prepping, financial reports printing, legal files, every insult, every withdrawal, every recording, every message. All of it was becoming ammunition. Samantha texted me. Samantha, ready to destroy them? Me, more than ready. At 7 p.m. I filed a legal financial complaint, a marital rights report, and a fraud suspicion case against Ethan, not to destroy his life, but to remind him I wasn't the weak girl they thought I was. I was the storm. At 11 p.m.
He called again. This time I answered. His voice was broken. Ariana.
The bank called me. There's a financial case. Fraud. Are you doing this?
Yes, he gasped.
Ariana, please, my job. My mother, my life will be ruined. I didn't blink. You should have thought of that before touching my money. I'll pay it back. He screamed. I'll do anything. Please just stop this. Good night, Ethan. No, Ariana. Wait, I ended the call. And I didn't feel guilt. I felt justice. Bilk ul Farhan. Abi Shuru. Hota High Part 3. Jahan's story, or intense, emotional, all revenge-focused Hodi Jayegi. Yeah, Part B approximately equals 1,800 to 2,000 words Kahoga, that night. After ending Ethan's call, I sat on the balcony of my 12th floor apartment. Cape Town city lights glittered. Below, like 1,000 small stories happening all at once, people were laughing, driving, fighting, living, and there I was, finally living too, not surviving. Not adjusting. Not shrinking myself to fit someone else's expectations. For the first time in months, I felt like Ariana Voss. Not the Collins family's maid-in-law. My hands tightened on the railing. This wasn't just revenge. This was rebirth. My alarm buzzed at 7 a.m. I stretched, groaning softly as sunlight warmed my room. My phone blinked. 12 missed calls, 7 voice messages, 14 unread texts, all from Ethan. But one message stood out, from an unknown number. I opened it. A single sentence. You should not have provoked me. No name. No details. But the cold, sharp tone. It felt familiar. I read it again. Mrs. Collins. It had her venomous fingerprint all over it. I Saved the message, evidence, then deleted it from my inbox. I wasn't giving her the satisfaction of knowing she got under my skin. I made myself pancakes. Fluffy. Warm, dripping with honey. Not a sad. Rushed breakfast I used to make under her strict schedule. This breakfast tasted like freedom. Halfway through eating, my doorbell rang. I stood confused. I checked through the PEEPHOLE. But she wasn't alone. Behind her stood a woman I had never seen. Samantha gave me a reassuring nod through the door. I opened it. Ariana, she said. Stepping inside, this is Detective Helena Ross. A detective. Inside my apartment for my case. What's going on? I asked. Helena shook my hand firmly. Miss Voss, I've been assigned to review the financial complaint you submitted. I have a few questions. My heart raced. Not fear, anticipation. Of course, I said. Come in. We sat in the living room. Helena opened a file. First, let me say this. The withdrawals from your joint account are suspicious. Very suspicious. I nodded. I didn't authorize any of them. Exactly, Helena said. And the timing lines up with your statement after marriage, under his control, and without your knowledge. Samantha leaned forward. We also have recordings of the mother-in-law insulting Ariana, which shows motive and emotional manipulation. Helena smiled slightly. You two came prepared. I exhaled slowly. I was prepared. Helena continued. We'll need Ethan to come in for questioning. Not an arrest, but an inquiry. Will his mother be questioned? I asked. Oh yes, Helena said. She's not directly tied to the money theft, but she's part of the psychological pressure. That matters. Samantha added, and if they resist, then we elevate the case. Helena closed her file. Rest assured. Miss Voss, you're in safe hands. Safe, a word I hadn't felt in a long time. As soon as Helena left, Samantha turned to me. You know he'll panic now, right? His job will know he's being investigated. His mother will lose her mind. I shrugged. They already pushed me to the edge. Now it's their turn. Just then my phone buzzed. Ethan, they came to my office. You filed a case? Ariana, please, I'm begging you. I could lose everything. Another message. Mom is furious. She says you ruined our family. Another. I'm coming to your apartment. Please don't call the police. My lips curled. He wasn't concerned about losing me. He was concerned about losing his comfort, his stability. His image. 2 hours later. Forceful knocks echoed across my apartment. I looked through the PEPHOLE. And he looked different. Hair messy. Eyes red. Breathing heavy. Desperate. I opened the door just enough to speak. He pushed against it. I blocked him with my foot. Move,
he said, voice cracking. No.
He tried pushing harder. Ariana, let me in. If you force your way in, I warned, I'll call security.
His body froze. He backed up a step, hands shaking. Please.
Please just talk to me. Why are you doing this? I stared at him coldly. I am protecting myself. You're destroying me. You destroyed us first.
He leaned his forehead against the door, whispering like a lost child. I'm sorry.
I didn't soften. I didn't melt. I didn't forgive. You're sorry because you got caught.
He looked up, wounded. That's not true.
Then why didn't you return the money earlier?
He had no answer. His silence was my closure. I shut the door slowly. He didn't bang.
He didn't scream. He just walked away. Later that night, around 10 p.m., someone knocked again. Soft. Almost polite. I peeked. Mrs. Collins. Her eyes were swollen.
Her hair messy.
Her expression exhausted. She looked nothing like the arrogant queen who ruled her house. I opened the door only a few inches. She didn't look at me. She looked at the floor. Ariana. Her voice trembled. This is beneath me. But I'm here to request. Request. Not demand. Not order. Not command. A request from the woman who once called me worthless. The shift felt delicious. What do you want? I asked. She inhaled shakily. Withdraw the complaint. No. She squeezed her eyes shut. Please, Ethan's job is in danger. His reputation. So was my dignity. I cut in. So was my mental health. She opened her eyes, red and glossy. You cannot destroy a man like this.
He is fragile, fragile?
I laughed. He stole from me. He lied. He let you humiliate me every single day. Her lips trembled. I only said those things because you hated me. I said no, she whispered. Because you reminded me of myself. That shook me. Her hand tightened on her purse. I, too, was a strong woman once. Independent, proud. And then? I asked. My husband broke me, she said quietly. Piece by piece. Until I became like him. That was the first human thing she ever said. But even sympathy has limits. You should have protected me, I said softly. Instead, you became him for me. A tear rolled down her cheek. Ariana. Please. My son is falling apart. I sighed, but then she made her mistake. She whispered, he needs you.
I straightened. Good, I said.
Let him feel what dependency feels like. Her eyes widened with pain. Ariana. I closed the door on her face. This time. She didn't knock. She didn't scream. She just stood there for a long moment. Before I heard her broken footsteps walking away. In the following days. Ethan missed work. His coworkers whispered. His boss questioned him. His friends distanced Mrs. Collins stopped showing her face in public. The Collins name was crumbling. And I wasn't lifting a finger. In my apartment. I slept peacefully, cooked for myself, forked. Again listened to music, sat on the balcony with Winnie, enjoyed the quiet. The trauma began melting away, and in its place, strength grew, a strength I hadn't felt in years. One evening, Detective Helena called. Miss Voss, she said, we have something you should hear. What is it? She hesitated. It's about Ethan's bank withdrawals. We checked the CCTV footage. My pulse slowed. And?
It wasn't him.
My breath hitched. What? It was his mother? My heart stopped. Mrs. Collins, the woman who accused me of destroying her son, was the real thief. I closed my eyes as Helena continued. She used his card while he slept, pretending to be him. We have evidence, I whispered. So Ethan didn't steal from me? No, she said gently.
His mother did.
I sank onto the sofa. Everything shifted. Helena added. And there's more. A text message from Mrs. Collins threatening you. We traced the number. It belongs to her. I swallowed hard. This wasn't just disrespect. This was crime. Ariana, Helena said softly, do you want to press charges against her? I opened my eyes. The night outside was calm. But something inside me ignited. This wasn't just revenge anymore. This was justice. Slow, cold, precise. I stood slowly. Yes,
I said. My answer is yes.
Got it, Farhan? I will now give you part 4 fully in English, clean, polished, natural, and perfect for a faceless YouTube narrative revenge channel. Here is the English-only version of part 4, around 1800 plus words. It was late at night. The sky was dark, the city almost silent, and I stood on my apartment balcony watching distant headlights move like tiny stars across the highway. The cool breeze touched my face. For the first time in months, I felt calm, and then my phone buzzed. One new email from Ethan Collins. My heart tightened for a moment. I tapped the screen and opened the message. Ariana, I know things ended badly, but I need to talk to you. Mom is in trouble. And so am I. Please, just hear me out. I stared at the screen, expressionless. The same man who once told me indirectly that I was replaceable. The same man who watched his mother belittle me was now asking for help. I closed the email. I didn't reply. Still, a small part of me wondered, what happened to them? 2 days later, I received another message, this time from an unknown number. Ariana, please respond. Ethan lost his job. His mother's medical bills are too much. Everything is falling apart here. I put my phone down, exhaling slowly. Karma was working, silently, perfectly. Their lives were falling apart, just the way they once wished mine would, and I didn't feel sorry. Not even a little, but curiosity? Yes, a fire of curiosity began to burn inside me. What do they look like now? What has life done to them? Maybe. I needed to see it with my own eyes. The next morning, I got into my car and drove toward the place that once suffocated me, the Collins house, the house where I cooked, cleaned, tolerated insults, and obeyed commands, all while being told that I had no rights there. But today I walked in as a free woman with her own apartment, her own income, and her own life. When I reached the gate, I instantly noticed the difference. The once beautifully maintained lawn was now dry. The flower beds were dead. Paint chipped off the front walls. The house looked tired, almost defeated. I pressed the doorbell. The door opened slowly. And standing there was Ethan. He looked nothing like the man I once married. Dark circles, unshaven face, messy hair, clothes that looked worn and old. He blinked in disbelief. Ariana? You came here? I met his eyes calmly. You wanted to talk. So here I am. Inside, the living room felt different too. Not luxurious, not proud, not powerful. Just broken. On the couch sat Mrs. Collins, once a proud, authoritative, controlling woman who treated me like a servant. Now she looked small under a blanket. Exhausted, fragile, and much older than she really was. She stared at me with weak eyes. Ariana. Her voice was barely above a whisper. My health. It hasn't been good, I nodded politely. I know. She lowered her gaze for the first time. She was quiet. Ethan took a deep breath and began explaining. Ariana, I got laid off 2 months ago. We've been drowning in medical bills. Mom's condition needs monthly treatment. Our savings are gone. I don't know what to do. I looked at him and asked, tell me something, Ethan. When you and your mother were planning to kick me out, did you ever imagine you might need me one day?
He swallowed hard, back then.
We were only listening to Mom, he muttered. Ashamed. Exactly what I expected. Ethan never had a mind of his own. I reached into my handbag and pulled out an envelope. Not apartment papers. Not legal warnings, just a professional card from a bankruptcy consultant. My lawyer friend's referral. I handed it to Ethan. Double quotes here. If you want help with your finances, call this person.
He stared at the card in shock. You're
actually helping us? I gave him a faint smile. Sometimes watching someone break quietly is more satisfying than destroying them yourself. Neither he nor his mother knew how to react. Was it kindness? Or a reminder of their downfall? Both. Mrs. Collins slowly lifted her head and said, voice trembling, Ariana, you were a good woman. We treated you badly. I was wrong. The powerful woman who once commanded me was now apologizing, but her apology didn't bring tears to my eyes. It didn't soften me. It simply felt like justice. I locked eyes with her and said, life teaches lessons when arrogance fails to. She looked away, embarrassed, defeated. Ariana, could you maybe stay for a while? Ethan asked, voice trembling. Just to talk? To figure things out? I shook my head immediately. No, Ethan. I came only to see how you both were doing. I chose my words carefully because once they used those exact words to judge my worth. Now the tables had turned. Ethan's face fell. As I walked toward the door to leave, Ethan's anxious voice followed me. Ariana, if you come back, we can fix everything. Mom has changed. I have changed. I stopped at the doorway, turned around, looked directly into his eyes. I would have come back if it were my mistake. He hesitated.
And now?
I answered softly, firmly, and clearly. Now, I don't repeat mistakes. I walked out of the house, this time with no tears, no fear, no guilt, just peace. The gate closed behind me with a heavy sound. Thud. An entire toxic chapter of my life finally ended. Back in my apartment, I sat on my balcony watching the sunset fade over the city. I didn't feel joy. I didn't feel triumph. I felt something better. Closure. Revenge doesn't bring happiness. It brings clarity. It brings strength. It brings silence after a storm. And that silence felt beautiful. But my story wasn't over. Not even close. A new chapter was about to begin. One built on strength, independence, and rebirth. And this time, no one would ever control my life again. Perfect Farhan. Now I will give you part 5, final part in English. Powerful, emotional, and with a strong revenge climax that closes the story perfectly for your Faceless YouTube channel. This will be the final part, completing the 9,000-word arc. Ready? Here we go. The apartment that saved me, revenge story finale for the next few weeks. Life moved quietly. I woke up early, made coffee in my peaceful apartment, watched the sunrise from my balcony, and began building the life I always wanted. No shouting. No humiliation. No emotional chains holding me down. Every morning felt like freedom. I found a new job at a real estate firm. The salary was good, the coworkers were respectful, and for the first time in years I smiled at work naturally. But little did I know, my past wasn't finished with me. Not yet. One evening I returned home from work. As I walked toward my apartment door, I saw someone sitting on the stairs outside. When I got closer, I froze. It was Ethan. His head was down, hands shaking slightly, breathing uneven.
He looked desperate. He stood up slowly when he saw me. Ariana.
I'm sorry to come here. I didn't know where else to go. I crossed my arms and stared at him. What do you want, Ethan? He swallowed nervously. Mom collapsed today. She's in the hospital. I don't have the money for her treatment. I have nothing left. Please, can you help me? One last time. His voice cracked for a moment. I felt a sting of pity, but only for a second. This was the same man who never defended me. The same man who stayed silent while his mother crushed my dignity, and now he wanted to borrow strength from the same woman he once called useless. I stood still and said, "Why should I help you?" Ethan stepped closer. Because I finally understand what you were going through all those months. I lifted an eyebrow. Oh, really? And what changed your mind, Ethan? Your mother suffering? Or you losing control over me? He looked down, ashamed. Everything fell apart without you. I wasn't strong enough. His voice trembled. You were the strong one. For a moment, silence hung between us. Then I said, Ethan, strength isn't something I suddenly found. It's something I always had. You just never bothered to see it. His eyes filled with tears. Ariana, please. I'm begging you. I took a slow breath. Life had given me a choice. I could help him and feel good for a moment. Or I could walk away and finally break the last invisible chain tying me to my past. I stepped forward until we were face to face. Ethan, I said calmly, you need to understand something. He looked up. I continued, you didn't lose a wife. You lost someone who would have given you the world. His tears fell freely now. And what should I do now? He whispered. I gave him the final answer he never expected. Learn how to stand without using someone else as a crutch. And then I stepped back. This is the last time we speak. Take care of yourself. And your mother. But don't ever come to me again. Ethan's knees weakened as he whispered, please don't leave. But I already had, not physically. Emotionally, years ago, I walked past him, opened my apartment door, and turned once more. He was standing on the stairs, broken, defeated, helpless, just like I once was. But the difference? I rebuilt myself. He didn't. Goodbye, Ethan. I said softly. He reached out as if trying to catch something slipping from his hands, but there was nothing left to catch. I closed the door, and with that, the last chapter of our story ended. Later that night, I sat on my balcony again. City lights shimmered like stars. Cars hummed softly in the distance. The world felt wide, open, and full of possibility. My phone buzzed once more. This time, it wasn't Ethan. It wasn't the past. It was a message from the real estate firm. Congratulations, Ariana. You've been promoted to senior consultant. I smiled, not because of the promotion, though it was good. I smiled because I had finally built something that no one could take away from me. Call on myself. My peace, my independence, my strength, my confidence. These were mine. Truly mine. And unlike the apartment, no one could ever claim ownership over them. In life, the people who break you are often the ones who fear your strength. But the moment you walk away from them, you don't just survive, you rise. My marriage didn't save me. Silence didn't save me. Secrets didn't save me. I saved myself, and that was enough.